Hello. Are we going live? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm your hostess, Isabel Starck, and welcome to the Empower Hour. So excited to have you here today. Today is actually episode number 18, and I have a lovely duo joining me today. Some ladies that I've had a great opportunity to get to know a bit better in the last few months, and we're going to be talking today to you all about virtual assistants and how a virtual assistant can help you get more done in your business and your life. So what's been happening since last week? My goodness, there's so much going on. The Fiercely Feminine group is happening and bumping, so we'd love to have you guys in there. If you don't know what that is, just go ahead and search in Facebook for Fiercely Feminine Entrepreneur. We're the first one who comes up. We have about 1,700 members, and it's a place where we can go to support and inspire and really connect with fellow entrepreneurs who are building their businesses. So love to see you there. All right, well, let's get this show on the road. I would like to introduce my guests today, and as I mentioned, they are a duo team, and actually there's a trio team, which we will have a little special introduction to the third person here, but what we're going to be interviewing today is all about your coaching assistants. So Valerie Jennings and Johnna Londen started your virtual assistants in 2010. Correct me if I'm wrong, ladies? I think it was 2010?
Correct.
Yes. And since then, they've actually branched off into your coaching assistants. So we're going to have them tell us a little bit about why they've niched down into serving the population that they do, which is coaches and speakers, and just really tell us a little bit about themselves, because they have an interesting story about how their business started and where it is they actually reside. So why don't we go ahead and turn the tables over, and Val or Jo, whichever would like to go first, please let us know, who you are, where you're coming from, and what your coaching assistance is for our viewers.
Okay, this is Johnna. Actually, it's a really interesting story how Valerie and I even met. My husband and I were backpacking Mexico because we, thought that would be this really great thing to do before we went back and we decided to be grown-ups again. And we ended up getting pickpocketed in Tampico because we really didn't do our homework all that well. And we by a chain of events, we ended up meeting a gentleman who told us, before you go and leave Mexico with a really bad taste in your mouth, not everybody is that way, go to San Miguel de Allende and look up my friend Robbie. We get here on a national holiday and Robbie's business is closed. But we, by a chain of events again, we run into Robbie, we speak with Robbie, and he gets us in touch with Valerie, who had lived here for a little over a year and had a growing computer business. We ended up meeting with Valerie, we became business partners, and we actually have shared a home the whole time that we are business partners. We are more like a little knit family more than we are a business. And I know that sounds like, oh my God, people are going, oh, well, you can't do both, but we make it work. Valerie and I are a lot alike in a lot of ways, so it works for us. Our computer business was really successful, and then the market started getting flooded with everybody coming to Mexico and saying they were computer techs. And then Valerie's mother got very, very sick, and we had to take time off to take care of her. So after she passed, God rest her soul, I loved the woman more than life. We decided to start a new business and get a fresh start. And Valerie was one day doing some research and ran across virtual assisting. And our business was started in 2010, and it's been a very successfully growing business since, with a few bumps in the road along the way.
You got to have the bumps, right? I mean, we're entrepreneurs, so there are always bumps. It's just, I have to say that having a partner that you can actually weather the bumps with has probably been more of a blessing than anything. What do you think?
Oh, most definitely, most definitely.
This is Val, by the way.
Yes, I'm Valerie. Nice to meet you all. Yeah, I mean, Johnna and I actually, it's very unusual because we complement each other, but we're also different enough that we can highlight each other and work very well together. Johnna loves to do more of the reaching out, the communities, the client building, talking with the clients, the newsletters, the social media, all the communication parts. She loves that. And all the clients even say how much her cheerful voice is and how great she is at that and that. I prefer to do more of the website, the tech stuff, the carts, the shopping carts, or the more of the technical side of it. And I'm used to doing that type of stuff because I did that as an advertising director. Everything is very, I like everything in steps and in processes. And Johnna's not. She's more free to the wind and let's go with whatever it is that feels right. So it's nice to have that, two sides.
Each other.
Yeah, it's great to have each other in that part, and I think that's what makes us very successful. And our clients know now who's where. So if they've got a client thing or if they want to talk about something with social media or something, they don't even bother me. They usually go directly to Johnna because they know that that's who they're going to go to.
Okay, so you've trained your clients well then.
I think that's important. I think coaches like to have one person to talk with or one person to reach out with. And that was one of their biggest fears is, oh my God, you're a team, so now what do I do? So we broke down, if you have graphic arts, you're going to go to Joel, which is Johnna's husband. If you've got social media or something like that, then you'll go to Johnna. And if you've got websites, sales pages, that they know to go to me. So it works very well for them because they know exactly who to go to. And that's all they care about. They just want to know who they reach out to.
So tell us a little bit about Joel, because he actually wasn't mentioned in the beginning. Now, he was mentioned in the pickpocketing, because you mentioned that you were both there in Tampico. But, I mean, beyond that, I also wanted to find out, was your intention to really stay in Mexico, Johnna?
No. Actually, it was not. Originally, we were just going to take a break until we figured out what we wanted to do when we went back to the States. So it was not an intention to stay in Mexico. But we met with Valerie, and we enjoyed the business, and we, like I said, we loved her mother. Joel and her mother were like bosom buddies. Aww. And we just kind of got sucked into the family, and then we really started building the business. So we just kind of never went back.
So tell us what role Joel fits in this, because I know that he plays a crucial role, and I saw.
Hang on a minute, he can speak for himself. Hold on just a second.
Hello, Joel. Wow, look at you. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks.
What are you doing?
How are you?
Back in the heat.
Let me adjust here since I'm bigger than she is.
So yes, you're coming to us from San Miguel de Allende. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, San Miguel, Mexico. I guess you're wanting to know who I am.
What you do with your coaching assistants. Yeah, how you guys ended up down there and what your role really is in your coaching assistants, in your virtual assistants.
I am the resident graphics designer, artist, foodie, that kind of thing. I'm pretty creative and out of the box in pretty much everything. Johnna pretty much explained how we got here, but we fell in love with Mexico. It became second nature to us to be here. It was so easy to live. Things are so much different here. They're far more tranquil, far more relaxed. So it was easier just to slip right into it. Whereas in the States, it was, corporate America is always a grind, and by the time you get home, you're kind of wore out and tired. And here was an opportunity to find relaxation that made working more enjoyable, much more fun, and allows you to kind of slip into working, whereas it doesn't seem like a grind. I know this is probably going to sound odd for most people, but here, when you go to lunch, you can sit down and drink a beer and go back to work. It's not a big deal. The difference here is most people don't drink and get drunk. They drink a beer at lunch like drinking a soda at lunch, and you move on about your day. And it's a total different mindset to be in Mexico. Whereas in corporate America, I mean, it's a little tougher to really love what you do sometimes. Whereas we own our own business. So it really works out well. Val was like my sister from the day we met. We had computers in common, so that was an immediate language that put us, side by side with each other. And we ran a computer business side by side for quite a while. I mean, we ran calls together, we traveled together, we did everything together.
You all were living together during this time too, right?
Right. So we lived together, worked together, ran clients together, and yeah, I mean, so 24/7, we've pretty much all been together for a lot of years now. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, we have our ups and downs like brothers and sisters, but, it's kind of the way it is. It also helps in business because where one is weak, another excels. And so we all complement each other.
And I really think that the fact that you're in Mexico has a lot to do with that too, because you rarely hear of people living in the States who work together, play together, live together, and they do it all happily. They're not killing each other.
Well, it's even odd. It's a little bit odd here, and we've been teased about the fact that we're like a married threesome, but it's more like a brother and sister relationship. So it's almost like a family business. Well, not almost. It is a family business for us, and because we are family, there's no doubt about it. And like I said, where we all have our strengths and weaknesses, we all complement each other. And by living together, that also has added to the fact that where we argue, it tends never to be as much about the business as it is just about arguing for the sake of arguing.
Yeah, we all have those conversations. Well, I'm actually going to put you a little bit on the spot because I have to say I love this story, and I would just love for you to tell the viewers what it is that inspires you.
Well, most of my art, all my art comes from inside. Even graphically, working commercially comes from inside, and that inside is, I have a muse, and my muse is my wife. And I know that doesn't sound like it would fit into the commercial world, but it really does. The inspiration comes from, she allows me to free myself to be more of who I want to be. And most of my art, even commercially, comes from that. I'm not a trained graphic designer. I taught myself everything, and I've gone through Photoshop through and through, although I still probably only know maybe 20%. I don't think anybody knows it all. And she allows me to free myself in my creation, and I don't hardly ever put out a graphic without going, baby, what's this look like, and she gives me that inspiration. She is definitely my muse, and she brings out a flow in me that nobody else brings out, and that even works on the business side. On my passion side, things I just do for fun, she is always my inspiration for that.
Oh, I really love hearing that. I mean, when I first read that on your About page, I was really touched. And, I didn't get it from you directly, but I just really wanted to hear it in your world. That's really beautiful. I think that's, it's a tough thing to find. I mean, that's for another show, the whole relationship side. We're here to talk about virtual assistants today, but I think it's really beautiful to have that, and that you've been married for as long as you have, and, celebrating a big one coming up soon.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Like here coming very soon, just a few days from now, is going to be a very big one for us, and so we're definitely looking forward to that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we can't celebrate it with Val because we're so far away, but.
Well, you can get on Skype.
Yep, that's true. That's true. And we, for my birthday, they had drinks and sent us pictures of them having drinks, so it worked out.
Yeah, I remember that. That's great. Is there anything else that you might want to talk to the viewers about and kind of tell them about your virtual assistants and the graphic design that you work?
Well, for us, your virtual assistants was an evolution in what we already did. Because we worked with clients, we took care of their computers. We actually were the geek squad here, where we actually went to your house and worked on your computer, so it was a very personalized touch. So this is the next evolution to that, and though it's not working on computers anymore, and I hate to say, most people don't need as much service to their computers anymore. Most people are very knowledgeable nowadays. So this was the next evolution in how to help clients. which is very important to us. It's not just about this is a business and we want to run a business and we want to make a bunch of money. This is about how can we help you advance your business as well. And service has always been something that we've been good at. So helping people to advance their business and give them knowledge and give them peace of mind is for us just the next evolution in where we were, which was we helped people who couldn't figure out how to copy and paste, and we taught them how to use their computers so that they could become more efficient and, of course, more productive in whatever it was they were doing, whether it was just doing email or whether it was actually having a website to run. And for us, this is just that. It's a way for us to help out people. And at the same time, of course, it is a business for us too. But we have no business if we don't have people that we can help out, and that's really important to us. Graphically, I think I would say I'm probably one of the least expensive graphic artists around, and not because I'm the least expensive, because I know what it really takes. I don't believe in charging somebody 8 hours for something that I can do in an hour. And creatively, if I have free creative reign to make something for people, I can give them something they've probably never seen before, and I can do it at a price that's far better for the client who's looking for pop graphics, pop kind of layouts, great designs, good catch lines to go with things, and put it into what they have in mind as well. So it's kind of a culmination of two minds working together on it.
Yeah, and I know that on your website there are some examples of that. I know that you just recently worked on a brand new logo.
Yes, I did.
I think is beautiful. So hopefully everybody will have a chance to check that out.
Thank you.
Will anybody actually be able to work with you directly? Like if a client does come and is looking for graphic work, do you get on Skype with them? How does that work?
I really prefer to work with the client directly and hear from them, and not just so that I can go, well, what's on your mind? It allows me to talk to somebody, get to know them a little bit, and by getting to know them, I can kind of get a feel for what they're really looking for, rather than a trial and error thing. A lot of people like to say, well, this is what I really want. But what they see in their mind and what they translate through an email is really different. So it's easier if you deal with somebody, talk to them, here's some color swatches, here's some ideas, and let's work through the process. And then you can actually tell me what it is that you like, because now you're seeing it and you're talking to me. I get a feel for you, your personality, and personality is a very big deal to me when somebody's wanting to design something. It works both ways. You're designing for your business, which means pleasing everybody that you want to come to your site, the clients that you're trying to impress, but at the same time, it's got to have a personal touch. It's got to have you in it. That's what makes it unique.
Yep, you're preaching to the choir here. Yep. I see it a lot, obviously, in branding and the coaching world. You really need to show yourself in your business. So people are looking for that. They want.
Yeah, it is very important to know that the business that somebody's looking into has a person behind it, not just a brand. That it actually has the person who's going to be there for you.
Great. So I look forward to seeing your guys' photo shoot coming up pretty soon.
Yes, yeah, October. I'm not looking forward to it, but we'll see how it goes.
Even a nice profile shot would be fine.
The little.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on. I'm sure Johnna probably wants to pop in here. I'm not sure if you're going to be around for the whole hour. But
I actually sit right next to her, so I'll be here listening in, and if you need me, I can always come back.
That sounds great.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Joel.
Thank you.
So Val, why don't we continue on with you, and you can kind of let us know a little bit more about, again, how you actually ended up down in Mexico and starting your virtual, actually the coaching computer business first.
Right. Basically what happened is, and I'm sure it happens to thousands of people, is my parents actually came to Mexico on a tour and ended up going to see San Miguel de Allende. And they really, really liked the city, really liked what it was. and arbitrarily just bought some property and decided that that was it. They were going to move here. And it was really, everybody was really shocked when they came home from this trip and announced that, hey, by the way, we're going to move to Mexico. I actually had gone to college in high school in Spain, so I had already had the experience of living abroad. And one of the cities that I had lived in is called Segovia, and Segovia has got the cobblestone streets and very old, and San Miguel has a lot of those features that are pretty much the same. And my father said, you know, why don't you come down, take a look at the city, I'll pay for the trip, and see if you like it, and if you like it, you can come move with us.
Free trip, who's going to say no?
Exactly, who's going to say no? So I said, okay, that sounds good. So at that time, my husband and I, we decided to go down there, and we did, and we really liked it. There was not a lot of young people. I think there was a group of us that may have been maybe 25 that were under the age of 70 that were there, but we got along with them all, and you know, we hung out with them. And then Danny and I decided, you know what, let's come down on our own to really see what it's like on our own. So we ended up doing a Thanksgiving vacation break and spent 7 days down there, and really got to know the town and decided, you know, this could work. At that time, my husband was a insurance adjuster, so he worked for USAA and Independence, so he was able to basically, as long as he had an airport, he could work.
And you still finished because you went to high school and
Exactly. I was fully bilingual. And in the job that I was in Miami, the boss basically announced at that point in time before I left that that was it. They were not going to give any more you know, raises, and they were on a freeze, and we were all going to have to suffer and that type of thing. And I just decided, you know what? It's time for a change. I can do this. I know computers inside and out, and there's no reason. I had my certificate. I've got an A+ certificate, which is the certificate for repairing computers. And I said, you know, I can make a go of this. And we decided, let's go. And that's what we did, and we moved down there and fell in love with the place. And like Johnna said, you know, when my mother got sick and ended up passing away, we just all looked at each other and decided, you know, our passion just wasn't in repairing computers anymore. We decided, you know, we need to find something else that we're passionate about, and we all enjoy helping people. And we said, you know, that this could work. Virtual assisting could work. We could do it from our house. It wouldn't matter if we're in Mexico. We can still talk to people and meet people through Skype, and we still have email, and we got to, you know, spend a lot of time in classes and learning this and learning that. You know, we've learned Infusionsoft and Entreport and took a lot of web coding classes, and, you know, we're certified in social media, we're certified in internet marketing, because Johnna and I came from backgrounds, being military backgrounds, that it was very important to have ethics and education. That's very important in the families, and you know that with military, I mean, that's very important.
Oh, yeah. So, yes, ethics, education, morals.
Yeah, so we decided that if we were going to do it, we were going to do this the right way, and that we were going to be fair to everybody. We were going to offer fair pricing. If they didn't like whatever, you know, that whatever we had to offer, we didn't charge them because we didn't think that was fair. But we did ask the clients, you know, at least let us have, you know, 3 shots at it. If you're not happy at the end of the 3rd shot, then you know what, we're not going to bill you. You can go your merry way. We'll go our merry way, and no hard feelings. And you have those.
Doing that. You built a really great business.
Yeah, yeah. And today, I mean, we still have some of our very original clients that we started off with. Yeah, the only reason why we don't have them all is because through the years...
We fired
them. Yeah, we fired them. I mean, I know that sounds shocking for an entrepreneur, but for an entrepreneur, you have to have your boundaries. You have to have your non-negotiables. You have to have things that you just say to people that, you know what, this isn't okay, and if you continue doing this, then I'm going to have to let you go. We cannot work together.
So and you're clear on who your ideal client is and who it is that you can't work with. I think that's a very important lesson to learn, and I'm not sure if you had that in stone from the beginning. You know, oftentimes you kind of get a taste for it as you go along. But
right, that's what happened to us. I mean, Johnna and I, when we first started, we took everybody at every price there was, and, you know, typical entrepreneur burnout and overload. And we just woke up.
Right? Didn't he have to do something with the schedule? I hear.
Yeah, I mean, he just finally turned around and said, you guys got to figure out what you guys want to do, who you want to work with, and let's get it situated and in our, in this is what we're going to do. So we actually did that. We actually fired most of our clients and decided, we just revamped all the websites, revamped everything, got the new logo now, a whole new brand, whole new look, whole new everything. And I mean, John and I have always enjoyed working with the coaches. We understand them. We get them. We like the fact that they also want to help other people, so that works out well. We work a lot of nonprofits as well. We do.
There are some niche for the coaches that you're working with. I mean, why don't you tell us a little bit about your ideal clients?
Okay. Basically, Johnna and I prefer to work with mostly life coaches, business coaches, and fitness coaches. We also work with a lot of nonprofits. We did a lot of nonprofits in San Miguel. We did their websites for them for free. We've done logos for free for nonprofits and stuff because we understand that they don't have that. So a lot of the nonprofit work we do for free or in exchange for credits, so that we get the credits at least, so we can add that to it because that's our give back. We're very, very big on doing give backs to the society. We think that's important. So we do that. We do a lot of charity, a lot of donations. People have raffles or donations and stuff. We're apt to give prizes to them for free services or free websites or whatever we can give because we think that's important. But
association again that you belong to?
For right now, we belong with, as far as virtual assisting, we're with IVAA, which is the International Virtual Associations. And we're also online business certified. So we have both of those communities that we're both certified with. I mean,
if you don't mind, and I can kind of jump in here, why don't you tell our viewers the differences between virtual assistants and OBM, online business manager?
Johnna?
Okay. Virtual assistants used to be just a generalized term. It's actually very specific now, as even most virtual assistants actually niche down what they do. You have anything in a virtual assistant from a general virtual assistant, which usually takes the place of like your secretary or admin assistant in the old style workplace, all the way up to what we are, which are technical virtual assistants, which we set up websites and we set up shopping carts and we run newsletters and we set up social media plans and implement them. And you have every kind of virtual assistant in between. An OBM is actually a person who manages your business and manages your team. Usually when a coach is ready for an OBM, they already have a team in place, but they need to put that head person in to manage the team, check the deadlines, manage the product funnels, manage the sales, make sure everything gets done properly, checked, and the team is doing what they should. That allows the coach to step back and do what the coach actually built their business to do to begin with, which was to grow their business, to help clients, and to create and administer products and sales funnels. So it's a little bit of a different, a virtual assistant basically would be working under an OBM. An OBM is basically like an old style project manager with a little more ongoing stuff, if that makes any sense.
No, it completely does. I come from an operations background as well. I spent a lot of years there. So it's really sounding like you're basically, you take care of the whole scope of things for a coach's business.
Exactly. We manage their whole team and manage their sales funnels and everything all the way down, so the coach does not have to worry about whether their business is going to run while they do what they do best.
Wonderful. I think that's a really good explanation, because being in the groups that we're in and seeing coaches out in the world and just realizing, for the most part, a lot of people think virtual assistant, but there's just a whole nother level that we've grown into. And like you were talking about niching down, when our viewers go to your actual website, they're going to see all the services that you actually offer. And I'd like for you guys to maybe go a little bit deeper into what it is that you are specifically real specialists in, and niching down. And before we actually do that, I did want to mention, I forgot to mention this earlier, is that if anybody is on the line and would actually like to ask a question of Jo or Val, I'd like for you guys to either click the button here that says join the conversation. It'll open up a new window, and then you'll hover right over the 9 squares, either in this area or this area, the 9 Google squares. Click on the Q&A app, type in your question, and we'll be able to view it here on our end and get your questions answered. So, yes, so why don't we go in and talk about your guys' niches and your specialty?
Val, do you want to take over that?
Sure. Basically what it is Johnna and I decided that we really, really enjoy the technical grinds and gears of a business. So we like doing the websites, the sales pages. We like working on doing the social media, whether it be from planning all the way to implementation. We also have some community management classes as well, so we like that part of it, so we can help clients focus on building their communities, how to build their communities, and how to sell using the social medias, and how to engage their communities, as well as seek other clients that they can through their social media posting. We also like the internet marketing, so we can help clients for the internet marketing. We do SEO work, so we can help rank and do rankings. In fact, we have clients that find us from our rankings, which is always a great thing to have. I mean, that's a great seal of approval when they could say, you know, I looked in Google and I found you.
Yep.
So that was great. But we like the technical side of it. We like to go through, learn the software, and find a software that's going to be efficient enough and at the right technical level for the coach, because a lot of coaches are not technically challenged, and we don't like holding our coaches hostage. So we don't go, and if we build a website, we don't use a lot of coding or PHP coding unless that's what they're looking for, because we want to be able to have the coach be able to feel comfortable enough to go into their website or into their WordPress and be able to add a blog without not becoming overwhelmed and going, oh, I just can't do this. Because sometimes writing just is an inspiration, and if it comes to you and you really want to write, it's important that you have that liberty to be able to do it. And I hear from coaches all the time telling me, oh, I have no idea how my website works, and that's just a shame. The same with everything that we do. If they want a calendar to do their online calendars, we're very sure to make sure, what is it that you want to do? What programs do you want it to hook up to? What do you want it to go to your cell phone? Do you want it to do this? So we take the time to figure out what the coach really needs, and then try to find the software that's going to work best for them at the easiest levels. And that's one of the things. And another thing is to mention is, for anybody who's still looking for, like Johnna was mentioning, how we've specialized so much, we're actually going to be covering it in our webinar for tomorrow. So I know you have that link, Isabella, so you could be able to go ahead and put that out later. But we're actually going to be covering all the different types of VAs, what the VAs are, and what they're doing. I think we lost her.
I think so.
We're going to have to go out and come back in.
Okay.
Did we lose you? Oh, we lost her. Wait, there she is.
Oh my gosh, what just happened? That's never happened to me before. I guess there's a first for everything. You being the technical ladies, you probably know.
I see you, but I can't hear you.
Oh. Hello? Interesting. Okay, we're going to go back in and see how that works. Can you
I
still
see you.
You do. Okay, perfect. Okay, we're going to go back in here. There we go. That was very odd. So I hope you were able to continue on. There wasn't just a whole bunch of dead space in there. Was all that good? Can you hear me? No. Okay. Let me see if I'm out. I'm in. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? No. Okay, let's see. And can you hear me now? Am I back in? Technical glitches do happen. Let's see. Unmute. Okay. Valerie, can you hear me? It's very interesting. I've never had this happen to me before. I hope that we are all still live. Thank you all for continuing to be on this broadcast. As you all know, we are working with technology, and sometimes the technology goes down. So I appreciate you all hanging in there, and we're going to see about what we can do with getting our guests on back live. So let me take a look here and see where we're at. That is back. Show participants, which is moi. Let's see, we are live. And there is Valerie.
Now I hear you.
Yay! Welcome back.
Oh,
Oh my goodness, this has never happened to me before.
it's one of those things.
Yeah, well, like I was telling the viewers that hopefully could still hear, was the fact that, you know, we're dealing with technology and sometimes it goes down. For the most part, a lot of people do connect on Google Hangouts on Air through Wi-Fi, which is how I'm connected, and maybe
that could be.
That could be it. So thank you very much for, you know, manning the floor, Val. I think you were answering a question. You hopefully went into talking about, I think I heard you say that the webinar series that you're offering.
Yeah. The webinar is tomorrow. I'm sure you'll send out with your stuff. You'll have the link there. But it's what is your www.yourcoachingassistance.com/what-is-a-VA. And those have got spaces in between them.
Great. Okay. Well, we will definitely be seeing those things live. And thank you very much again for manning this episode, this broadcast. So So before it looks like Johnna's actually gone. So I'm hoping that she'll be able to reconnect.
She's trying, but she can't get in. So she's going to keep trying, she said.
Okay, let me see if there's something that I can do to, I'm just going to copy. Oh, she has the bookmark, right? Maybe there's a new bookmark just in case.
I used the same one, but let me resend it to her.
Okay. Yeah, it should, I'm guessing, be the same one, but you never know. Here we go. So while we're waiting for her, like, why don't we get into some of the questions that I like to ask, especially all of my viewers. And, you know, maybe you can actually talk to me about what success actually means to you, what success is in your business and in your personal life. So can you dive in a little bit deep about that?
Sure. I mean, basically success to us is the ability to have the freedom to be able to do what we want to do. You know, the ability to be able to go to the gym, we want to go to the gym and take care of us. The ability to do vacations, the ability to unplug, the ability to, if somebody did get sick, like my mother or something like that, and we had to take care of them, that we would be able to do that. That's important to us. I think it's important to us also to have the freedom to have enough money to be independent and to be able to get why we're here. I mean, in our case, we're going to plan on buying a house this year. So that's our big goal, is to get enough money to be able to do that. And to be successful, you have to have goals. You have to have a reason for the money. And that's very important, I think. And that can change through the years, but I think it's important to figure out, first of all, do what you're passionate about. And second of all, to have the goals to be able to decide what you want. Why are you going to work every day? What is this all about?
Yeah, have that bigger why. I think that's very important for people to be able to define for themselves and really just to be able to stay connected to it throughout.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's very, very important.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you've already talked to us a little bit about how you all got started and how you all met, which I think is a really interesting story, because not everybody actually has that kind of story. But, you know, how you actually decided to niche down to the clients that you do serve. I think I'd like the viewers to kind of know how you actually narrowed it down, because in the coaching community, what I can tell you is what I find with a lot of clients is the fact that trying to niche down to this one person and really narrow it down to know where they eat, what kind of clothes they wear, and what they like to do. Like, I'm just wondering, did you have a similar circumstance when trying to figure out who your ideal client was?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think everybody has to do that. You have to go through that type of atmosphere. In our case, what we did is we actually had a coach that we worked with for a little while who actually sat down, and that's what she did with us. She sat down and said, okay, you know, who is your audience? And that's how we got our audience down. But basically, it's going to be somebody who has a lot in common with you. They have to have the same values as you. They have to have the same ethics as you. You have to have the same passions. You don't have to have the same likes and everything, but you still have to have a similarity to it. I think that's important. I know a lot of coaches now, they're trying to find their VAs and their OBMs off of Kobe scores and off of all these personality scores. And I always find that weird, because to me, you're working with the person, you're not working with their test score. So I think it's more important to have a conversation with somebody and try it out. I mean, see how you like. Most VAs have trial periods. You know, we'll discount our prices to try something out, or we'll in our case, we do a package thing. So, you know, we'll work off your newsletters for 2 weeks, or we'll do your social media for 2 weeks and see how we are and see if we're getting your voice. But it's no different.
Called the Try Us On package?
Right. We have the Try Us On package, correct. And, you know, I think those are important. I think that people need to work with people. That's what it is. In our case, it's a people business. Coaches are people. Their clients are people. So we all work with the same amount of things. In fact, in many ways, our clients are the same way as your clients. You know, they're all pretty much the same. You're going to go through and decide on your clients of what they need and advise them on how to move forward, whether it be their life or their business or whatever. And in our ways with the VAs, it's our job to watch over your business, to let you know better ways to market yourself, better ways to communicate yourself, better ways to brand yourself. And we also look at it as we're almost like a coach's coach in a sense of the VA side of it. We watch your business as far as how to grow it, ideas of how to sell. Johnna and I come up with a lot of ideas for our coaches. If they're doing a webinar, you could repackage that and sell the audio. They have a bunch of books that they've done in the past or a bunch of old programs, and they just feel that, that program's gone. And I said, if you make these little changes to update it, we could repackage this out and sell it out again so you can make more money.
So and like a consultant as well.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the things that maybe separates us more, because John and I do have the technology side behind us. So we can think of all those type of things of using technology, creating videos. Animated videos are big right now. So we'll do a lot of blog posts, recreate them into animated videos, and then post them on the YouTube channels so that people can get a new look at whatever the blog post is, to repurpose it. Or we'll repurpose it into slide presentations and throw it up onto SlideShare. Or to make graphics. We take off of different quotes from different websites and then make those into graphic quotes to post onto Instagram or post it onto Pinterest. So we try to find ways to continue to spread their message, continue to spread their brand, as well as new ways of how they can market their business and make more money, because that's what everybody's in for, right? Is to make money.
At the end of the day, we are here to make money. And I think that's when they start looking at you, is the fact that they've reached a level where they can't just do it all themselves anymore. And, like right. Even Joe mentioned earlier, the fact that once you get to the OBM level, you already have a set amount of people in place, right. And you just need somebody to be able to manage. So.
Exactly. And that's, a lot of OBMs, depending upon how they want to break out, some OBMs are completely hands off. They'll do absolutely nothing but just manage. Johnna and I are a little bit different because we have the technology, and because we figure, it's okay for us to jump in every once in a while. We don't.
Also important. Your name is on that work, regardless if you're managing people. Your
right.
name still is on that whatever work that you do.
Yeah, we basically look at it when we take an OBM role. We're stepping in as you, so we'll actually sit back and say, "What would you do? Would you actually physically go in and change this or change that, or would you go assign it to somebody? And if that's somebody, and who is that somebody?" So we would act as you. That's basically what we're doing. We're acting as you in your stead so that you can go into coaching, building your JV partners, going into speaking, or whatever means that you want to be able to continue to grow your business into your next level, creating programs, creating ebooks, or whatever that is that obviously a VA would not be able to do, or an OBM would not be able to do, because that's personal, that's you. But it's our job is to make sure that all the pieces are working, and we spend time with the coach asking them in the beginning, what would you do in this situation? Do you delegate it out? Who do you delegate it to? And if that person's not available, who is the next person? So, and set those processes up, because a lot of coaches don't even have those processes. They built their business, they built these people to do things, and they don't stop to think about, what happens if so-and-so gets pregnant? What happens if so-and-so has to drop out because they have an emergency surgery they have to do? In Johnna and I's case, we had that worked out early. And when I had to have emergency gallbladder surgery and was on an operating table, none of our clients even knew, because Johnna was right there with the laptop taking over all of our clients. And nobody even knew until after the fact that I was even sick.
Wow. And that's actually really setting up proper processes. And again, like we talked about operations, it's really you're being a true operations manager with these businesses. So to allow them the time to really do what it is they love and what they do best, the things that they basically can't delegate out, like you were saying, whether it's speaking or actually doing the coaching client calls.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, that's what the role of an OBM is, and I think it's important for a coach to also realize in order to grow their business, they're going to need help. And that's very important. And even if you go on to, Odesk and hire somebody from the Philippines for $2 an hour, because that's all you can afford to help you do one thing, to give you 1 hour a week or 2 hours a week that are extra and free, that's 1 or 2 hours more clients that you could take on for a coach. That's 1 or 2 hours that you could spend into your Facebook group and building your group and building your community. That's 1 or 2 hours that you could be making phone calls or trying to find a JV partner. That's 1 or 2 hours that you could spend on your business, building it, and send off that small stuff to a VA. So
it's really a time suck.
Exactly. So a lot of coaches always keep saying, oh, well, I don't have the money. I don't have the money. And that's okay. But you're losing money by not hiring a VA or by delegating it. So I think it's important to say, okay, even if I could spend $1 an hour, $2 an hour, or $3 an hour, whatever that max is, go find the person that can do it for that price and take it off your plate. And as you grow and as you move into more money, more coaches, it's like anything. Then you're going to grow your people to go with it. That person may stay with you, but you may outgrow your VA. I mean, it's very important to realize what your VA can do. And that person that you're paying $2 an hour to review your email and just to answer your email, it's not going to be $2 an hour to repair your website.
Right.
So it's important to realize, what can I afford to take off my plate right now at what hour, and then go find that person. And then as you grow your business, you need to sit back, and I say about every 3 or 4 months, and say, okay, now that I'm here, what can I afford? What can I take off my plate? In 3 or 4 months, come back and say, okay, now what can I take off my plate? Because those time that you can take off your plate is time that you can book clients. It's the times that you can actually book your speaking engagements and make more money than you can doing your social media posts.
So give us some tips for any coaches or speakers who might be watching this, and let us know what steps would you recommend if they're considering looking for a VA.
Well, I think the first thing that's very important is you have to interview your VA. You need to find out what they can do honestly. I know a lot of people get into with the VA, and the VA is very quick to say, oh, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. If they're that type of VA, walk away, because most VAs can't do everything. And our stuff, we don't do any type of email contact for the most part. Johnna does her emails, but she does emails as far as speaker documentation and management for that side. But we're not ones that are going to go in and check your email and email your clients and that type of thing, because that's not what we do. We're not good at that, nor do we enjoy it. So that's another thing.
Yeah, you can go with what your strengths are, right?
Exactly. You got to do what you like. And that's another question you want to ask your VA is, what do you like to do? I mean, what is it that, if you were able to do anything for my business, what would be the one thing that you would like to take over in my business? That's important. You want to find out what their hours are, what time zones they're in. Are they going to work with you? I know a lot of VAs right now are restricting communications to where they're only going to check their email one time a week, 1 time a day. That's important as you as a coach to know, is your VA available to you during your working hours, or how are they going to get in contact with you? Is it going to be through a project manager? Is it going to be through Skype? Is it going to be through email? Is it going to be picking up the phone? Do I have access to pick up the phone? If I have an issue during the weekend, can I call you up on the weekends? You need to find out what those boundaries are, and you know that. If you're going to deal with a global market, you want to find out what languages they speak. You'll be surprised. I mean, I'm from the U.S. and Anglo, but I speak Spanish. And, most clients wouldn't think of asking, but if they're going to deal with the Latino market, then you need to have that,
And the Latino market is really growing in the coaching industry.
It is. It's growing really big. In fact, just here in Mexico, I mean, I'm seeing through the meetup groups and everything else, I'm seeing a lot more coaches coming on board. In LinkedIn, I'm seeing a lot more of the Mexican coaches. So it is growing. It's also growing in Argentina and a lot of other Latin America. So I think that's important as well. I think that another thing you want to ask your VAs is, how many clients they have. It's okay to ask them, how many clients do you have? How much time can you give me? A lot of VAs I know get themselves maxed out and then start putting their clients on the back burners. And then the coach or the client ends up getting upset because, oh, my VA was supposed to do this and didn't do it. And the worst thing that you as a coach who's going to hire a VA, the idea of hiring a VA is so that you don't have to worry about that task. And you sure don't want to continue to have to hound the VA to find out the stuff got done. So you have to have a trust. You have to have the trust base, and you need to find out what is your go-to plan. If I'm out sick, what do you want me to do? What is my backup plan? What am I going to do for you? Am I going to notify you and you're going to take care of it? Or do I have a person in place that's going to take care of it for me so that you don't have to worry about it? What is the backup plan? I think that's important. It's also important for the coach, for the VA to know what the coach is going to do or for the client to do. If you're on vacation, is it okay for us to contact you during vacation? Is it okay for us to email you if there's an issue? What are your boundaries as far as if I have an issue with a sales page and I can't get it launched on a certain time, when do I have to notify you? When is the drop dead dates? Have deadlines in place, and don't make your deadlines your last day because things happen.
Yeah, by the way, that is a very good.
We have clients that have written us and said, oh, I want a sales page completely up and running within 12 hours. And you can't do it. I mean, you can physically put the sales page up and you can, put it in, but it's never going to be tested. It's never going to be the way it is. And, I always tell my coaches when they do that, sometimes they get in this rush, I'm like, is it really worth it? Because you're going to lose face off of this. Because when it glitches out or they get an error message or something doesn't work, it's your name. It's your face that's going to get marred. It's not mine. I'm the VA. I'm in the backside of it. Nobody sees me. And the only time they ever hear me is when they're on the coaches groups and you say, oh, my VA did this. And most of the time you've got to stop to think, who's all really to blame in it? Yes, some VAs do take responsibility, but you've got to set realistic deadlines and expectations of what you want to do. I mean, you cannot put a tele summit together in one day. It takes time to do it. And it's important to sit down and ask your VA, how long does it take? If I want to do a telesummit for December, can I do that? What do you need to have? What has to happen for all this to happen? Because you don't have to know all the processes, but the VA does have to know those processes. And if they don't know those processes, then you need to find another VA that does.
And that is something that you're skilled on, both you and Joe.
Yeah.
Webinars, summits. Great.
Exactly.
Well, listen, I know we had some glitches a little bit earlier. We're down to the last couple minutes. I'm sorry that Joe was not able to rejoin us.
Yeah, she's been trying. She can't get in. She's hit me on Skype saying I can't get in still.
Bummer. But I'm really glad that we did get her to tell us her story and what it is that she brings to the business, and to have Joel pop in there too. So I'm going to have to put this big question right on your shoulders then, because one of the last things I always like to ask all of my interviewees is what your big plan was for 2015. Being in the Facebook group that we have, that I do something really called the top to do, the TTD of the day.
Correct.
But me as the top to do, I would just love to see and to know what your big goal was for is for 2015.
I mean, we we just rebranded and restructured. So our big goal right now is to get new clients. We're hoping to have basically 5 new clients by the end of the year, as well as being able to buy our house at the end of the year. So those are our 2 big goals, personal and business.
And I think it's really great for the viewers to also hear that you're just looking for 5 more clients.
That's it.
You don't take on 40, 50 people at a time, because then you can't really service them the way that you really want to.
And I think that's important. I mean, I think even coaches, it's easy to get your rep self, accept everybody. But I think it's when you're servicing people that you really, really like, that you really, really have a connection with, and that you really enjoy doing. I think that's what matters. I think that's what makes it good. But it's also important to be able to say, what can I realistically handle without sacrificing the quality?
Yeah. Very words of wisdom there, my dear. Well, again, I really want to say thank you for coming on. It was great interviewing all three of you. That was a nice surprise. And, you know, I know that we have listed your website for everyone to see in the groups and also in the description of this event. So if anybody else has any further questions, you can find Jo, Val, and Joel in either the Facebook group or through their website at yourcoachingassistance.com.
That's correct.
Right?
.com.
Okay, good. It's yourvirtualassistants.net. Okay, so again, thank you very much for joining on live, and I really appreciate everybody being here. And thank you again, Val, and thank you, Joel, and thank you, Johnna, for being on. So I will be talking to you all soon, and we will see you guys next week for a special broadcast. Still deciding whether I'm going to do it a day early or actually do it on Wednesday, because I am going to be at a Tony Robbins event. So really excited about that, but we will see you all soon. So thanks again. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.